So here you are learning some basic drawing stuff. And a lot of the videos so far have been really simple techniques, some introductions to pencils and erasers, but this is going to be the first final product. You could think of this as your first milestone on this journey towards learning to draw better. So here's what we're going for. A nice, clean, linear drawing. You're describing what you're seeing in front of you using only line. Okay, well, if that's the final result, how do we get there? I've showed you a variety of different techniques, all of which kind of, in some ways, lead towards this final result. But what I didn't talk about is the way that those techniques can interact. And this is the fun part, where you get to take a bit of your own personality, the way that you like drawing, and mix and match. Assuming you've tried all of these shape techniques and the angle measuring that I've talked about, you might find that the first step for you is to think of things in terms of angle, concentrating on the relationship of one object's height to the next one's height. How do they line up in space together? Maybe you like to first envision the negative space, or to think of all the four objects as a single positive shape. And in this case, you could begin a contour line drawing, thinking about those large 2D graphic areas, positive and negative space. Or maybe you really liked doing the oval exercise, where you're loosely drawing from the shoulder and putting ellipses down on your paper. Using the side of your pencil, it has sort of an energy to it. Well, then maybe you'd start there. So maybe you use the schematic drawing to find the verticals and the scale relationships, and then you draw with the side of your pencil and use the ellipse technique. Or maybe you like thinking of the linear block-in technique. Maybe that just makes more sense to you. So you take that basic envelope and then slowly divide it into more and more specific angles, turning straight line segments eventually into curved forms. The point is, though, that each of these techniques does not exist in a vacuum on its own. These are all just different ways of analyzing a three-dimensional form sitting in front of you and translating that into a 2D representation on your paper. So there's really no right technique to use. You might find that there's a combination of 2 or 3 of the techniques that are the best result for you. But you're going to find that drawing 3 or 4 different objects in one scene is a lot more challenging than any single object sitting on a paper by itself. Because this means you have to not only get the positive shape correct, but also the negative space in between the objects has to be clear as well. Getting all these shapes to line up together is pretty tricky. Now, I considered saying that the homework this week is simple, and that's not very fair. The homework this week is only one thing, but it's going to be a real challenge. Drawing this simple still life is kind of like a midterm test. It's going to really see how much you've internalized about these various techniques. You should end up with a pretty clean line drawing, whether or not maybe you used blue pencil underneath or just straight graphite. Either way, the end result should be clean. I know I've said this before, but it is not going to be glamorous. This probably won't be a portfolio piece for you. But take a while with this and make it look really nice, because these are all important skills, even if the subject matter isn't particularly exciting. Good luck, guys. Thanks for watching.